The silence of the police station was a heavy blanket, broken only by the low hum of a computer and the slow, rhythmic ticking of a clock on the wall.
It was the kind of deep, late-night quiet that settled over the small town of Northwood when the world was asleep. Suddenly, the glass doors burst open with a startling crash. Into the sterile, fluorescent-lit room stumbled a German shepherd.
He wasn't just a stray. He was a mess of frantic energy. His beautiful coat matted with mud and burrs, his paws leaving dirty tracks on the polished floor. His chest heaved with ragged breaths, and a low, desperate whine escaped his throat. He wasn't aggressive. He was pleading. Officer Miller, a man whose weary eyes had seen nearly everything, looked up from his paperwork, startled. His younger partner, Officer Chen, instinctively reached for his sidearm before realizing the intruder was a dog. "Whoa there, boy," Miller said, his voice calm and steady. The dog ignored the words, his intelligent eyes scanning the room, finally locking on to Miller. He let out a sharp, commanding bark, then another. It wasn't a threat, it was a summons. He ran to the door, looked back, and barked again, a clear and desperate invitation. "Follow me." Chen sighed. "Just a lost dog. Probably wants to be let out." But Miller saw something else in the dog's eyes. It was a terrifying urgency, a raw intelligence that went beyond a simple lost pet. "No," Miller said, standing up slowly. "He's not lost. He's trying to tell us something." The shepherd seemed to understand he was being dismissed. He darted back into the room, his eyes scanning for something, anything to make them understand. He grabbed a set of keys hanging from a hook on the wall, the metallic jingle cutting through the silence. He trotted back to Miller, dropped the keys at his feet, and nudged them forward with his nose. The message was unmistakable. "Use these. Come now." That was it. That was the moment that defied logic. An animal communicating with intent, with a plan. "All right, I'm in," Miller declared, grabbing his coat. "Chen, you're with me." They followed the dog out into the cold, damp night. The shepherd, who they would later learn was named Chico, led them with unwavering purpose. He didn't just run, he guided them, constantly checking to make sure they were behind him. He led them away from the paved streets, down a muddy access road, and into the dense woods bordering the town. The air grew colder, the darkness more profound. After a grueling 10-minute trek, Chico stopped abruptly, his barks growing louder, more insistent. There, wrapped around a large oak tree, was the mangled wreck of a pickup truck. It was nearly invisible from the road, a metal coffin hidden in the shadows. Miller and Chen rushed forward, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. Inside the driver's seat, an elderly man was slumped over the steering wheel, unconscious and bleeding from a gash on his forehead. It was John, a local retiree Chico adored. "Dispatch, this is Unit 5. We have a single-vehicle MVC deep in the woods off the old service road. We need paramedics now." The rescue was a blur of activity, but Chico never left. He sat quietly, a silent, furry guardian, watching as the paramedics carefully extracted John from the wreckage. He whined softly when they placed his beloved owner on a stretcher, his tail giving a weak, hopeful thump against the wet leaves. At the hospital, John drifted back to consciousness. His first hoarse whisper wasn't for a doctor or a nurse, it was for his hero. Chico? Is my boy okay? He was. Chico was allowed a brief visit, and the moment he saw John alive and breathing, he rested his head on the edge of the bed, a soft sigh of relief rippling through his body. The ordeal was over. Back at the station, the story of Chico's heroism spread like wildfire. He hadn't just run into a police station, he had run in with a purpose, with a love so powerful it transcended the barrier between species. He had refused to let his best friend die alone in the dark. Officer Miller often thought back to that night, to the frantic dog who had burst through his doors. It was a powerful reminder that sometimes the most profound acts of courage and loyalty don't come from a person in a uniform, but from a heart that beats with 4 paws and unconditional love. It was a story of hope, a testament to the fact that even in the deepest darkness, a plea for help can be heard, and a hero can emerge in the most unusual ways.